All right, so I have started recording and I have some target today that I'll be covering some of the topics. Uh, Hopefully, I'll be able to go through those topics. The topics that I'm planning to cover today is um, object repository, shared object repository, local object repository, and then how to use object repository, how to copy objects from repository, how to merge two objects, right? What is the use of object repository in UFT? And um, with with this, when we are done with object repository, then my next plan is to go for descriptive programming, and after descriptive programming we will go for how we can use functions and function library. So that is for today's target. So let's see how much we can do today. Now I'm starting this Microsoft Word to show you something. So I'm pausing recording so that sometimes Microsoft Word take longer time. So now, so see, our discussion point will be, we will have three test cases. We will have three test cases. We will automate these three test cases using UFT. So while automating these three test cases, we will learn the automation art. Okay. Now test case number, right? TC001. Test case name. Name. New tools login log out, right? Then you guys always follow the way I'm doing everything, right? So let me first show you how you can save something. Let's say this document, right? If you just save it here and there, then later on you will not get it. Let's say I'm clicking save as. So now while you are clicking on save as, can you see this browse option? You browse and you go to your favorite place. Now can you see, when you go to browse, it is bringing you by default in this place. So libraries, documents, if you save it here, you will not be able to find it out later on. So you do not save it wherever it is suggesting. No, you do not save it there. Remember, are you guys focusing what I'm saying? Can anyone respond? Can everyone respond that you are on focusing? Okay. So this file, when you are saving, by default, it will take you to the place. You do not save it there. If you do that, you will not be able to find that file again. So a lot of time you do this mistake, but do not make this mistake from now on. I do not want to see this mistake. So what you do, you go to your favorite place. Let's say you want to save it in your favorite place. So for me, I have a folder where I save all of the training files. Now you will see, can you see training? Inside training I have a location, this one. Okay, so here I want to save it. I want to give this name, and always give a meaningful name. Test cases to automate. Okay, now let's say for some reason you close this file, right? You close this file, you know you shut down your computer and then you start your computer. So later day when you need that file in a later time, what do? file, open, right? Open and browse. Open and browse, and you go to that particular place. Can you see now? It is by default, it is pointing me to that place. So can you remember, this is the file that I need to open, right? I open that file. Now test case 1, let me insert a table here. Insert table. Now I want test step num, uh, step description, and then expected output. Okay, so I need 3 column, and let's say I need 6. So here, so this one I will make it very small. So what you need to do, you bring it here. So let's name this column as test step num, okay, and then test step description. So I'm writing a test case, simple test case. Expected output. I'll not go that much details when I'm writing the test case. Let's say step num 1. Okay. Navigate to um, navigate to stuff. So if this site is down, so we are going to write our test case on this qaquestions.org. Yeah. So if you go to QA questions, right? So let me complete that test case. Navigate to, yeah, qaquestions.org. Okay, and when you navigate there, what is the expected output? You will see QA interview questions logo on top, right? I will, when I am going to the site, I will verify this QA interview questions big logo here. Okay, now I'm going to put QA interview questions logo will appear on top of the site. Okay, then my and the name will be, okay, QA questions. Let's see what is the what will be the name, of this test case. So we are going to verify QA questions. Let's say we are going to verify this link, right? We are going to verify this link. So we are going to give a name for this test case. Hello, who joined? Abdulaziz, how are you? All right. So thank you for joining, Abdulaziz. Keep following our discussion. Now, uh, QA questions link verification. Okay. So our next step will be click on this, click here for QA interview questions link. Click on the link, click here for QA interview questions, right? So when you click on it, what is the expected output when you click on it? Um, can you see? We are seeing what we are seeing here. We are seeing question 1 appears, right? question 1 appears. Okay, so let's put the step here. Question 1 appears in the case. Okay, let's keep it limited here. This is our first test case. Let me remove the remaining. Okay, I'll keep another step. Step number 3, close the website. So website will be closed. Now let's say this is the steps that we are going to automate today. Now, as I said, I will have 2 more test case, but for now let's focus on this test case. We are going to automate this this test case, right? So we are sure about the steps. Our steps are: navigate to qaquestions.org, click here for QA interview questions link, and then close the browser. Now let me go back to the virtual machine. Let me open a new test. Again, I'm going to mention this one seriously. You do not want to save your, when you are opening a test, you do not want to save it where here and there. You have a, can you see from the location, you choose your location, browse, and make sure that you are saving it in the right place. So I know that I want to save it in e-training, right? E-training July 23rd batch. I want to save it over there, but let me make sure if it is the right place. So if I go there, yeah, so E3QLF's training, yeah, this is the right place. So I'm going to save it over there, and this place is good. I'm going to give a name. What is the name of the test case, folks? The name of the test case is QA questions link verification. So I'm going to give the same name for this test case, and do not save your test case with GUI test 1. No. So QA questions link verification, right? Now, what is that test case number? TC001 QA questions link verification create. Okay. Now it is created, right? Okay. So far we have already discussed how to do record and run, how to do parameterization, how to use local object repository, right? We have already discussed how to use local object repository. Now, so do you know what we are discussing? All right, so today you all know how to use local object repository. So I'm going to use shared object repository now. Shared object repository. So what I'm going to do, you focus on here. Can you see that in this one we have a local object repository, right? So this local object repository, if you add your object in that local object repository, then you will not be use those object in other test cases. Let's say we have 3 test cases. So you will see how shared object repository help you, to use same object in 3 test case. See, so you will see that you are adding objects in one object repository, but you can use those objects in 3 test case. So that is the use of shared object repository, right? Versus if you use local object repository, if you add your object in local object repository, you will be able to use it only with this test case, not with any other test case. But if you add your object in a shared object repository, then you will be able to add that shared object repository with your other test cases. Does it make sense? Yeah. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to create a shared object repository, and I'm going to start working with that shared object repository, right? How do you bring shared object repository? If you go to object repository manager, can you see that, right? So, or if you click on object repository, now can you see we have a repository, here, but this repository, let me switch off this Facebook because it will keep bugging us. So can you see, guys, this object repository, when you clicked on, when you clicked on resources object repository, can you see there is no save button here? There is no save button. And if you click on file, you will not be able to. Okay, now this is your local object repository. Can you see this local object repository? When you click on object repository, it will open your local object repository that is local to only this test case, so it will not open the shared object repository. So remember, if you click on local object repository, it will open the local object repository. So what you need to do, you click on object repository manager. Okay, now can you see the save button here, right? You can see the save button. That means this is a, when you see the save button, this is a shared object repository. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to save this object repository to a favorite place, not here and there. Remember, I'm saving everything on a particular place, and for your whole life, whenever you work with computer files, remember this for good, that you have to save your files in a favorite preferred place, not here and there. If you keep saving your stuff here and there, the whole life you will suffer. You will not get them later on. You will be struggling to find your file. So it is very important you save your file on a favorite place, on a place that you like, on a place that you know. Okay, now my favorite place is this folder, July 23rd batch. You guys are my favorite place. Okay, so here I'm going to give a meaningful name. Let's say I'm giving a meaningful name, shared object repository for QA question, automation. Sure, sure. So Naber, the local object repository, as I say, if you save your object in the local object repository, right? If you save your object in the local object repository, these objects will be available to only that test case. But remember, when you are working on a project, you will have hundreds of test cases, and all of the test cases, yeah, all of the test cases will have login logout, right? So login logout, the objects that you need in login logout, if you save this object in a local object repository, then for all of the 100 test case, you will have to add this object in hundreds of object repository. Instead, if you save those objects in a shared object repository, then you will be able to use that repository with every test case. You do not need to repeat any work. Yeah, you do it one time in a central place, and then you use it. Remember, let's say you have 5 brothers in your family, right? So you guys are using some, let's say, uh, common thing like um, some food you are sharing. So if you, what everyone knows, that foods are in the food shelf. So whenever they need something, they go there, pick it, grab it, eat it. right? Whenever they need something, they go to the refrigerator, they grab it and eat it. But if you need to keep different food in different refrigerator, then everyone will have to go to their particular refrigerator. So if five people has five different refrigerator, then they will have to go to their particular refrigerator, right? So same thing, if you have five test case, if you create five local object repository, then nobody will be able to access others repository. So what I'm going to do in this test case, I'm going to add some of the objects in a local object repository and some of the objects in shared object repository, and I will show you, like when I will be working with the next test case, how it makes your life difficult. You will see it is a very easy step. When I am going through the discussion, it will make more sense. Okay. Now, in your real life, basically you guys play with everything in of the like share of the yes. All right. Now, let's say I have created a shared object repository, right? And remember, can you see that the name, like there is a name that I provided, shared object repository for QA automation dot tsr. Can you see the extension of the shared object repository dot tsr? Remember this. Sometimes it is interview questions. Okay. Now, okay, let's go back to the UFT. Okay. So here, the first thing I will have to do, I'm not doing record and run anymore. So I'm working like I'm working in practical life. Okay. So the first thing that I'll have to do, I'll have to open the application by code. Not like when you start playing, it will open the application. No. You are going to do, when you have these option, record and run test on any open browser, that means you will have to open your browser by code. So for opening browser by your code, what is the function we already learned? System util dot run, right? System util dot run. Now, yeah, now can you see, you will have to provide what browser you want to use, right? IExplode.exe, right? IExplode.exe. Do you know what is that IExplode.exe means? So, you know, I yeah, IExplode.exe. It means, let me show you what does this mean. So if I right click here, right? If I right click here, start task manager. If you go to processes, right? What are the process you see here? WinLogon, BB box tray, UFT, task manager, task host. File extension is the exe. But can you see any IExplore process here? No. No, we don't have any process here. But if you start the browser, right? If you start the Internet Explorer browser, right? Then if you go to that task manager, can you see now there is a process called IExplore? Can you see? So that is what IExplore is. IExplore, when you start Internet, go ahead. I think you mentioned the browser IExplore. Like you mentioned there is a browser, specific browser, Internet Explorer, the open website over there. Yeah. Okay. So what I am asking it to do, I am asking it to do open Internet Explorer. Now you know, for Internet Explorer, the name of the process is IExplore.exe. What is the name of the process? IExplore.exe. Now, so let me, sure. So the Explorer and Explore, what is the difference? Like, one of them is the name and the other process. Okay, let me show you. Let me go back there again. So in this one, your question is, what is the difference between Explorer and explore, right? So remember, this internet browser is the process IExplode.exe. But can you see explorer.exe? So can you see this? I have this window opened here, right? If you remove this, right? I remove this, right? So when I remove that, let me see application process. So that is actually this explorer exe is the um, this explorer is Windows Explorer, this one. So this is for Windows Explorer and this is for Internet Explorer. Okay, yeah. So remember our discussion point is iexplode.exe. Now, so I'm asking, yeah, see, we will learn different browser, but for now we are focusing on Internet Explorer. Okay, yeah. Now iexplode.exe, remember this iexplode.exe, let me show you one place. Computer, and then can you see EFT? Can you see program files? Yeah, program files, and then can you see HP, and can you see unified functional testing? You open this, and then let me show you. Can you see bin? And inside bin, if you type I, no, inside bin, if you click on so over there, if you go to, no, hold on. Okay, so for for Internet Explorer, right? For Internet Explorer, can you see this Mozilla and can you see this Chrome, right? Yeah, okay. Remember this. You can see Mozilla and Chrome, but for Internet Explorer, everyone, for Internet Explorer, what it will do, it will go there, it will go there, it will go to the program files, and can you see Internet Explorer? Inside Internet Explorer, can you see iexplode.exe? Yeah, let me bring folder options, view, right, apply. Now can you see this is the file iexplode.exe. So UFT by default, when you mention iexplode.exe, it will come to this place and it will open this iexplode.exe. Does it make sense? So if see if you yeah, no, you don't need to put it. By default, Internet Explorer UFT is programmed in that way. By default, it will when you yeah by default it will open iExplore from here. Yeah, for the Internet Explorer it is default. So if you mention this iExplore.exe, it will open this one, and in like right now if you execute, right? Right now if you execute, yeah, Internet Explorer will appear, but it will not bring any particular page. It will just it will it will open the default page. Okay, but if you mention here comma, if you mention a URL QA, QAquestions.org, right? Then it will bring it will open that, yeah, it will open that particular website on Internet Explorer.
So this is the different like UFT and QGP. Like QGP in KGP we like invoke application, double quotation and put this our website name, and the UFT part with the syntax was system util double quotation and explore.
And Naved,
This is like
Naved, both of the syntax will work here.
oh, okay.
Okay. Now take a look here. So we have opened, right? We have opened this QAquestions.org in Internet Explorer, right? Now,
No, no, no. Why? What do we mean? Like UTIL
system system
system
system util system util is a function that UFT, you know, these programs we do not need to worry about it. UFT take cares of it. System util dot run, there is a program they have already written that will help you in opening website. Okay.
need to learn some step.
Yeah, yeah. Now, so I opened that. So Munir bhai, was I able to answer your question?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. So we have opened Internet Explorer and this website. Let's say you want to open the same website in Chrome, right? So you mentioned chrome.exe and then QAquestions.org. Let me run it. So Nabed,
Yes.
can you see what it is asking now? So it is saying that invalid procedure call or argument. So chrome.exe, right? Chrome.exe, it is not able to get chrome.exe, right? I told you by default it will be able to open Internet Explorer, but by default it will not be able to open Internet Explorer. It will not be able to open Chrome. Yeah. Now let me do one thing. Yeah, let me do one thing. So you have seen that it is not able to open Chrome. Is that correct? Okay. Let me try to do same thing. Firefox.exe. Firefox.exe. Right? Yeah. Now can you see it is not able to open Firefox as well? Right? But it is able to open what? Okay. Yeah. Now let me do one thing, folks. What I'm going to do, I'm going to bring download, download Chrome, right? Download Chrome. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to download Chrome.
You have already, I think, in your computer.
Basically, I have it in my base machine, but I do not have it in my virtual machine. So I'm going to download it in my virtual machine. And one other, yeah, one other thing, guys. Whenever you install software from internet, you always see they will be asking, they will be automatically, you know, there will be some checkbox checked. So some of the software will install antivirus, some of the software will install something that you do not need and it will be bugging you. So you always read it and uncheck if you do not need anything. So can you see I already unchecked these two checkbox. So I'm going to click and install that Chrome in my computer. Let me see. It might take a little bit time. Yeah, run. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think I have already the converting to change the setting.
What now,
I think I saw it too. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, let me bring it. It will just take 30 seconds, and we'll see how it goes.
In Loader, maybe you think you go to the option setting and set up the browser option. I think you did the same thing over there, but I don't know, like it's not installing your computer.
No, Nabet, we didn't do anything with Chrome browser in LoadRunner.
Okay.
It seems
No,
like
no, there is a setting option. Select the specific
so. Yeah,
domain.
in LoadRunner, when you do record in recording options,
Yeah, yeah.
you can choose
Option,
browser.
yes. Specific browser is selection.
Yeah,
Whatever you
yeah,
want.
yeah,
Also the version is depends on your the version.
yeah,
It support also the version.
yeah. In LoadRunner again, it will not support the latest version of Chrome. It will not support the latest version of Firefox in LoadRunner. So what you will have to do, you will have to install older version of the Chrome or Firefox, and then you will be able to record it. The same thing, folks. The same thing. My UFT will not support the latest version of the Chrome as well. I'll show you. But okay, I guess that our installation is done. So let me close this Chrome browser. Yeah, it is opening. So I'm going to close it, and all of my browser is closed now, right? Now if I try to open chrome.exe, right? Let me see how it behaves. Okay, now can you see it is able to open qaquestions.org in Chrome?
Yes.
Guys, does it make sense?
Also, it's the latest version.
Yeah, this is the latest version. Now does it make sense to you? It was not able to open Chrome because Chrome was not installed in my virtual machine, right?
But yes,
But when I installed Chrome, now it is able to open Chrome. And can you see, if you go to your program files, right? If you go to your program files, now you will see you have a folder called Google, right? And inside Google,
yes, Google.
can you see you have a Chrome? And inside Chrome, can you see chrome.exe?
Yes.
So, if you have Chrome or Firefox, UFT by default knows where you will get chrome.exe. Is that make sense? UFT by default no. You do not need to give this path. UFT by default know where this chrome.exe is located, and it is able to open that chrome.exe, right? Okay. Now let's move forward with the discussion. If you go back to your object repository, folks, can you see this gentleman with hat and a spy sunglass? Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. This gentleman is called object spy. Okay. So I'm going to try to identify. Can you see? It is not able to. It is not able to identify any object. Wherever you
I didn't
point,
see anything.
wherever you point, it is showing win object. That means it is not able to identify any individual objects. Is that correct? Is that correct, everyone? So it is UFT is not able to identify any object. Normally, if UFT is able to identify object, it will be able to identify each and every object. But here, it is not able to identify any of the objects. Is that correct? Yeah. So because it is not able to identify the object, because if you take a look here, if you take a look here, Farhana, are you in the call?
I think she's travel for joining our.
Audio, Farhana, are you in the audio call? Okay. Now, Nabed and everyone, Abdul, can you see what is the version of this UFT of this Google Chrome?
Right, 59.0.
59.0. That is the latest version of Google Chrome, and UFT doesn't support the latest version of Google Chrome. Is that correct? Now, let me show you. So remember this version, okay? Remember this version. Let me take a snipping of this version. I'm going to choose again. I'm going to choose my favorite place. I'm going to go to the, let's say, backup, right? This is the backup folder. So in the backup folder, I'm going to create a new folder called UFT scripts, right? And then hmm, and then TC001. What is the name of the test case? QA questions link verification. Verification. Create. Now the next task we did, we are going to learn the shared object repository. I'm going to create a shared object repository here, and I'm going to click File, Save As. I'm going to save that, yeah, in the same place. I'm going to name this uh, QA questions, QA questions opt, okay. And from there, let me go to my code. In the code, I'm going to write in the action. I'm going to write system util dot run. Let me see. Let me see if I am recording. Yeah, I'm recording. Now system util dot run. Again, I'm going to run on IExplode. Now you know very well what does this IExplode means. IExplode.exe, and what is the site I'm going to work? I'm going to work on QA questions.org. Now, if you run it, it will open. It will open qaquestions.org for you, right? qaquestions.org for you. The next task is, how will I make sure the page open? I'm going to verify this object, right? So what I'm going to do, can you see this is my repository? In my repository, I'm going to click plus, and I'm going to add this particular object, right, in the repository. Now I'm going to change the name. Can you see? Excuse me. Can you see this object, right? This object. What is the class? The class is link, right? So I am going to remove all of the spaces in the name. Spaces in the name I'm going to remove, and I'm going to, what is the class of this object? It is a link. I'm going to add a word link. Yeah, yeah. But I'm removing the spaces. Now here you remove the space. You remove the space. Now what is the class of this object? face. Remember, this object, I'll show you. Yeah, I'll show you. Yeah. Now what is the this parent object? This is what is the class of this object? This is a browser. This is a browser. Now, if you highlight this one, right? If you highlight, can you see how I'm highlighting? So where does it highlights? It highlights the browser. The whole, like, this object is in that browser, right? So this object is a small object. It is contained in a browser. Now if you go back there, if you highlight this child object, right, you will see it is highlighting that particular object. So it is like you put a coin in a small container, and you put that small container in a chest. So it is like object inside another object. So this object is inside a browser. Now what I'm going to do, guys, so if I go back to my object repository, now I'll have to verify that this object exists, right? So how will I bring that object? How will I bring that object in my code, right? Let me go to my code. My code means my action, right? In the action, let's go to the next line, and let me go to the object repository. From the object repository, I'm going to yeah, I'm trying to extend it. So I want to bring this object to our code. I want to bring this object. Right? I want to bring this object in our code. So how will I do that? I will drag and drop it here, right? Now, what I want to do, I want to verify this link exists. So how will I verify this? I will put a if condition here. If this link dot exist, right? 0. Then what you do? You need an end if. So if this link exists, say print this object. Yeah, sometimes when you work remotely, okay. Now I want to say this object displayed, right? Now if this object doesn't come, else if else if else if else if, actually I'm going to say else if you do not see this object, right, you say print this object didn't appear, right? Now can you let me do the execution again. So it is saying that in line number 6 there is a problem. There is a problem. What is that problem? When we are writing and if, we probably have to keep a space, right? Let me do the execution again. And always you are saving. Can you see? You are saving. That means you guys are not following what I am asking you to do. You always select. You need to, guys, you need to follow each and everything that I'm saying here. Okay, so here now if you execute it, can you see the browser object was not found in the object repository, right? The browser object was not found in the, can you see, it is not getting the browser object. Can anyone tell me why it is not getting the browser object? Because this, remember, the object is in this repository manager, right? This object is in that repository manager, in that repository, but you will have to make sure that you are right clicking here, associate repository, and then you associate this repository. So when you associate this repository with your task, with your test, right, you associate this repository. Now if you try to close these browsers. Now if you try to execute, remember you will have to execute your action. Okay, if you try to execute, it didn't show us that error message. Is that correct? Okay, now let's go. Yeah, let's go there and let's see what is our output. Can you see this object didn't appear, right? This object is there. This object is there, but it is saying this object didn't appear. The reason is when you are opening browser, it is not straight away, opening the page. It is taking a little bit time, right? It is taking a little bit time before it open that page. So what we will have to do, can you see exist? We will provide 5 seconds here, right? And then we will close this browser and we will open it back. Right. Right. Now if you go back, can you see this output is from the previous run. Now can you see everything passed? This link is there, display. Let me clear it and let me remove it. Let me remove that 5 second to 2 seconds, and let me also close this. Yeah, close the browser. Let me run it. So what did you see? Now within 2 seconds the page is not appearing within 2 seconds. Is that correct? That's why we are seeing that the page is not appeared, but still our test is passing. When the page is not appearing, then we should fail our test case. We have learned in the previous class, if we want to make our test case fail, what is the thing we are going to do? Reporter dot report event, and what is the thing that we are going to do here? Make fail. Yeah, make fail. And with what in what step it is failing? Let's say verify page open. And what is the object it is failing on? It is failing on this object, right? Now if you execute your test case, you will see if it is not getting that object, then it will not show that your test case passed. So it will show you, it is not getting the object in 2 seconds, and it is, can you see verify page open? It is failing in page open verification, right? Now can you see description is QA interview questions link. It is not getting the QA interview questions. Can you see we are getting a specific error, right? Now if you have adequate time here, right? Let's say 5 seconds, then let me close this browser. Right, now you'll see that your test case is passing now, right? Because you have that object now. So sometimes, guys, can you focus here? Sometimes you will see some of the pages is taking 20 seconds, sometimes it is taking 30 seconds, sometimes you will see it is taking 1 minute. So what is the solution? You'll be some, your page is taking a variable amount of time. Variable amount of time means sometimes it might take 1 minute, sometimes it might take 20 seconds, sometimes it might take 30 seconds. So what you do, you put here 0, but what you are going to do, can you see up to page, up to page, right? You put a sync here, then what it will do, even though you have 0 over there, but it will be first syncing that page, and then it will be going for checking, right? So let me close this now. Although I have 0 second here, if you do it, if you do wait statement, right? Then you will have to give a time, 5 second, 10 second. So you do not want to give a fixed time, because if your page is loading, if your page is loading within 2 seconds, and if you provide 10 seconds, it is taking extra time. So it is always better, if you see sync is working, you put sync, then it will be waiting only particular time, how long it is taking for the page to load. Then if it is getting the page after 1 second, it will not wait anymore. Okay, but let's say if you do not want to use sync, if you put wait here, right? Wait 5 seconds, right? So what it is going to do here, if your page open after 3 seconds, let me run it again. If your page open after 3 seconds, you will see it is still keep waiting, right? Your page open, and then you will see it is still, it will be waiting. So you do not want to use a hard way if you can do the job using a sync. Okay, let me remove this comment from here. Now if you can highlight this object, that will make more sense. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a highlight here, right? And to show you what is the difference between sync and wait, let's say I'm going to put here a wait for 15 seconds, right? So then can you see every time I had to close this browser, right? So why not in the beginning I close the browser by a statement. If there is any browser open, it will automatically close it. Systemutil dot close process by name. What is the process we want to close? IExplode dot exe. Now, yeah, much better. See, if you have a browser open, right, it will close it. Yeah, it will close it automatically. So now you'll see we do not need to close the browser, it will close by itself. Can you see it is closing the browser and then it is opening the page, and then you will see it will be waiting over there. Can you see still it is executing? So if you go to the code, you will see it is waiting on the wait statement. Can you see it is waiting there? Because we have 15-second wait time. And then it is highlighting that object. Why it is highlighting? Because we have a highlight statement, right? So in our code, guys, what we did, we have opened this page, we have verified that object, right? If that object is not there, we are making our test case failed here. And also, before opening any new page, we are closing any page if it is already there. Now what is our next step? Our next step to close on this link, right? Our next step is to close on this link. So how will you do that? We are going to add this object again in the repository. So we'll go back to our repository and then we are going to add this object in the repository. Click OK. And now can you see we need to change this name. So we need to maintain our naming convention. We are going to change this name to, we are going to remove all the spaces. So if the spaces are there, it will not harm, but for our visibility, we do not want to keep any extra character. So you do not have to remove the spaces, but to follow our class, you remove the spaces and you always add. Can you see the link? Class is link. You add this word at the end of it. Now, what we will have to do, guys, we will have to bring this object in our code. So the next task we are going to do. So let's keep a. We do not want that 15-second wait time because it is killing our time. And disadvantage of this long wait time, the purpose of automation is to do things quickly. The purpose of automation is to save time, because it is a huge amount of time when you do the job by manual tester. you will have to pay them huge amount of money. And if you keep waiting, then you are again taking long time. Time is money. You do not want to wait that long. So that's why automation is here to do things quickly. So we are going to comment here, okay? Sync base, right? And the next statement is, can you see, I'm going to put comment for every statement then that I'm using. So this is for close any browser if opened. Guys, are you getting this session helpful?
Yeah.
All right. So open the web page. Then here verify the QA questions logo, right? And this block is for, then we'll have to uh, we'll have to verify, we'll have to click on that link, right? We'll have to click on that link, but before clicking on that link, before you click on any link, you verify if that link exists. Okay, verify that verify that verify that this link exists, right? Now how do you verify this link exists? Again, you do the same thing, if statement. If this link exists, I'm going to give it maximum 3 seconds, right? Then end it, right? End it. And then here you do, if this link exists, you print print. Can you see there is a extra space here? So I need to revisit my object repository and I need to change this name, right? And all of the every word will be in uppercase. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to come back to my code. Can you see it automatically changed? Now, so what I'm going to say, print this link displayed. Else I'll say print this link doesn't appear, right? And if this link doesn't appear, we want to make our test case fail, right? I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it. And what is the step? It is failing verifying verify this link, right? And you put here, you can put any message, but I'm putting a meaningful message, right? And if this link exists, I'm going to do a highlight. Dot highlight, right? Now you execute it again. Can you see it is highlighting? Okay, now let's go back to the code. So if this link exists, right, if this link exists, what we are going to do, we are going to click on that link, right? Now I'm going to put a comment here, click on, click on. I don't need all of this text here. I'm going to remove, click on this link, right? And what I'm going to do here, this one dot click, click, right? And after you click on it, right, now if you execute it, now if you execute it, you will see it will be clicking on that link. Can you see it is clicking on that link? So here, can you see, now we are in this space, interview question space. Now what is the thing that we have to verify? We have to verify this question one appeared, right? So let me show you how you do that. But to Naved, I told you that I will be showing you the difference between local object repository and shared object repository. So what I am going to do, guys, so I am going to add, remember the objects that I have added in the shared object repository. Now I am going to open this local object repository and I'm going to plus this object, this question one object to the local object repository, right? And as usual, I'm going to change the name. Okay, I'm going to put a meaningful name. So I'm just keeping question one. And what is the class of that object? What is the class of that object? Web web element, right? And then I'm going to change this. What is the page name? QA interview question. I'm going to remove all these spaces and I'm going to put here, what is the type of this object? Page. I'm going to change this browser. Okay, browser is same, that's fine. Now browser is, we already have the proper name. Now I'm going to bring that object in my code. So what I'm going to do here, like I'm going to put a comment, verify question one appears, right? So I'm going to bring that object. Now that object in which repository? That object is in the local object repository. So from local object repository, I will have to bring that object, right? Okay. Now how do you verify again? What you will have to do? You will have to put a if condition here. Is that correct? So I'm just copying this if block from here, and I'll be putting this block here, right? And I'll modify this block for this subject. Now what I'm going to do, if this object exists, I'm going to do a highlight on this object, and I'll put here 1 second. I'll modify this time. And what is that object? This object is this one. Yeah, so I'm going to put this particular thing here. I'm going to put this particular thing here. I'm going to put this particular thing here, right? And I'm going to put, as I'm verifying this object, right? Now let me execute this. Okay. Right, can you see our test case failed? Because QA1, question 1, it was taking time for the page to be fully loaded, right? And in the meantime, we have provided only 1 second wait time in the code. So what we'll have to do here, we can provide a sync statement, right? Or we can provide here enough time. We can provide here, let's say instead of 1 second, we can provide 3 seconds. We will adjust this time depending on the necessity. Okay. Let me see if 3 seconds is enough. Probably not. 3 seconds is not enough. Okay, it was able to highlight, right? So let's see. Yeah, it was able to identify the object. Now, so we have completed that test case that we discussed. Is that correct? We wanted to finish this test case. Navigate to qaquestions.org. QA interview questions logo will appear. Click here for QA interview questions link. Question 1 will appear, right? We have one more step. Close the browser, right? Close the browser. Now I am going to do that step as well. So for closing the browser, folks, for closing the browser, what you do, again, what you can do, can you see this browser, right? This browser, you copy this up to the browser and let's say close browser, right? Comment. So that is a comment. I'm just keeping some track so that you can understand what each of the statement is doing, right? So put that dot close. Okay, dot close. Yeah. Now if you execute it,
So each of the test cases with the one with each of test case, or you need to like go all the way down, or you need to open the new test case, new queue test.
for each of the test case there will be new functionality, Navid.
Sorry.
For each of the test case you will have new functionality. You will have to verify new function, but for each of the page it is common. You will have to open the browser, you'll have to open that page, you'll have to verify that page opened successfully, right?
Yes.
So now let's see what it is doing. it seems like it got bugged. It is can you see it is keep opening, so I'm going to
Yes, open hello.
yeah. So Munir bhai, are you there? Munir bhai, are you there?
Maybe mute the microphone. Yes, I am here.
So are you causing this issue? It seems you are causing this issue.
Sunil bhai. Sunil bhai. আচ্ছা কি করছিলেন ভাই?
Hold on. So task manager, from task manager I'm going to stop this task.
End of phone.
Ooh, keep opening. Let me stop recording here because it's growing my recording unnecessarily. So what I'm going to do, my next test case is to verify test case 2, test case 002. And what is the test case? Let me go to this site again. QA questions, right? Let's say my other test case is to verify this contractor space. Okay, so let me go there. So verify contact us, right? Create. Okay, now can you see that we have a local object repository here, and in that local object repository, inside that local object repository, if you go to that local object repository, you will see oh, this is the previous. Let me close it. Yes. Okay, now in this local object repository, if I open it, right, we have nothing, right? But what we can do, we can bring associate repository, and then can you see this shared object repository? We can associate it. We can associate, right? And then from that repository, we can drag and drop everything. We can use it here. Now, before I do that, again, can you see we'll have to write code to open application, right? So what we'll have to do, system util, we'll have to write code again, right? So what I'm going to do, again, I'll have to guys, try to follow me here. I'll have to write system util, I'll have to write all the if statement, I'll have to do all the other tasks. I can drag and drop objects, I can use this object, but I cannot use those code. Does it make sense? Again, for opening page, I'll have to verify the logo, I'll have to write code. So I'm trying to show you one other thing. I'm trying to introduce you with another term that is called function library. So will it be too much for today, guys? Yeah, let me go then a little bit more. Now I'm going to open that previous test case, and can you see that we have this code here, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to introduce you all with function library. So file, new, and from new, can you see you have function library? You create a function library. Again, I'm not creating a function library in the place where it is directing me. I'm going to create the function library in my place where I want. UFT script. Okay. Now inside UFT script, I'm going to go into that, and inside that I'm going to create this function library. Let's say um, QA questions func lib create. Okay. Now in that function library, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put all of this code in the function library so that I don't need to write it again. I will just use the function library. So I'm going to go to that function library. I'm going to create a function here, right? I'll give it a name, close all browser. I'm giving a name, and inside that function I'm going to put that code, right? Now instead of writing that code, I'm just calling. What I'll do, I'll copy this function name, and instead of this line I'm going to put that function, right? I'm going to put that function, close all open browser. And then I'm going to create another function here, another function for open application. In open application, I'm going to put this code, right? In open application, I'm going to put this code, right? And then I'm going to remove this code, which is which
like
is
10, like a 10 small jar, we can call 10 like 2 or 3 inside of big jars. Like that. Looks nice and easily find out.
yeah. You will see when I'm removing all the code from action how beautiful it looks, right? Then I'm going to verify this object, right guys? This object. So for this one, I am going to write a function, right? I'm going to write another function. I'm going to write another function to verify this object, and then I'll say verification, or let's say verify. Okay. And then I'm going to bring those codes, those messy codes, right? So this is where it is we are verifying. So I'm going to copy this code in the function library and paste it here. Actually, it is not copied. So I'm going to go there. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to come here, paste it here, right? And I will be aligning the code, right? And what is the name of this function? This is the name of this function, and this function is replacing what? This function is replacing all of these, we don't need this, right? This is inside the function. Now, so this verification is done. Then what? I'm going to write another function to verify. Oh yeah. So I'm going to write another function in the function library, right? Another function to verify this part, right? To verify this object. Verify this object. What is this object? This object. Underscore verify, right? And I'm going to replace this function in my action. Okay, verification is done. Now I'm going to write another function to click on this object. Click on this link. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create another function here. What I'll have to do, I'll have to align the code properly. Right? I'm going to write another function. Well, first I'll have to create the function. Function, and then I'm going to put this code here. And what will be the name of this function? Now can you see what I'm going to do here? I'm going to actually click. This is it. I don't need this verify because in this function I'm going to click. So let me keep this on a side. So in this function I'm going to click on this link, on this QA interview questions link. So I'm going to say, so what is the function here? I'm doing a click, right? And then I'm going to replace action. I'm going to replace up to this click. Instead of this click, I'm going to replace the function. And after clicking, my next task, verify question 1. So I'm going to go to the function and I'm going to write another function here for verifying that question 1 web element appeared. So what is the name of this function? Verify, and I'm going to replace that block of code, this block of code, right? And then my last function will be close the browser. Last function will be close the browser. So I'm going to write another function here, right? And what is the block of code? This is doing, it is closing this browser. So I'm going to put this and close, right? Now I'm going to replace this, right? I'm going to go there and I'm going to, instead of this line, I'm going to replace. Now can you see how beautiful it looks, your action, without any if block, without any confusing term? Can you see? Does it looks good now? So if you try to execute it now, you'll see another trouble here. Can you see type mismatch, close all browser? So it is not getting that function. So what we will have to do, another task, right? You will have to right click here.
Associate the function library.
Exactly. You will have to right click here and then add, and then can you see associate function library? You associate this function library. Can you see another thing? The extension for this function library is .qfl. The extension for the object repository was .tsr. The extension for function library is .qfl. Okay, this is another interview question. So I am associating this function library, right? Okay, Now if you execute, right, let me show you. Let me put a breakpoint here in this close browser and execute it. Okay, now now we are going to execute this line number 2, close all open browser. If you click here, you will see it will take you to the function library. Can you see it came into that block, that particular block where we are closing the browsers? Can everyone see this? And can you see it is closing the browser for us? And after that, can you see if the function is ending here? After the function is end, it will not execute anything from here. It will go back to your action. Can you see now you are in your action? Now open application. So when you execute this open application, can you see now it has came into the function library again? Can you see we are in the function library and it is opening the browser, right? Right, can you see how convenient it is, how it is working? Now if you execute it, it will do everything in the similar way. So now we are calling everything from the function library. Okay, I will tell you what is the use of that function library, because we have another test case. We are going to use the function libraries, we are going to use the object repositories from that test case, another test case. Okay, now can you see it is doing everything for us? Now let me see, it is creating this issue. Yeah, it is creating this issue. So what I'll have to do, I'll have to go to the task manager again. Let me stop recording because it will take a little bit time for me to fix this recording as well. So I'm going to open test case 2 that we have created. Okay, open, open test case 2. Do you want to save? Yes. Muniba, can you click on this yes button? Alright, you'll have to close your EFT and then you'll have to start it. It seems like your EFT is not working. Let's do it in that way. Let's do it from here, task manager, and then from here, right, and task. And now, yeah, can you open back? Yeah, now let me take over. File, open, open, test, and test case 2, right? Test case 2, open. Then you come here. Can you see you already have all the objects, right? Now I'm going to bring that function library to add associate function library, QA question function library, Yes. So what I'm going to do, I know inside this function library, I can save it. Guys, I didn't save the function library. So this function library is not saved. Okay, so if this function, now you have seen how we created function library, right?
Yes.
So your task will be, we will discuss this part in the next class. Your task will be create a function library, call the functions from function library into your action. Up to that. So we have created, so far we have learned how to use shared object repository, how to use local object repository, and then how to create function library, how to call the functions from your action into your function library. So your task will be up to that, whatever we have discussed. Make sure it is ready and working in your computer. Okay, any question? Guys, do you have any question? So I will send you the recording, you follow the recording, I will remove the unnecessary part from the recording, and whatever we did, you make it ready, make sure it is working in your computer. Alright, so that's it for today. I'll send you the recording, and if you have any question, shoot me an email. Alright guys, so I think we had enough today. Yeah, so I'm going to stop this recording, and also I'll stop this session. Thank you for joining, guys.
Bye bye.
Yeah.